Hello everyone, my name is Bindu Maira and I've been a healer and life coach for the last 18 years. Tarot is magical. It's mystical. Join me on a 7-day journey where I'm going to take you through some of this magic and mystique of the cards.
Hi everyone, welcome back to our third day of journeying with tarot cards. Not just with demystifying them, but also actually using them as a tool for transformation. I must tell you at this point, when I initially got into tarot, and that's years and years back, almost 20 years ago, with me, the idea was never to become a tarot card reader. It was just part of my spiritual journey, if you will. The cards really called me. And when I started studying the cards, the unbelievable magic was that almost all the pieces of the jigsaw that we call life seemed to start clicking into place. And it's funny because somebody actually called and told me 2 days ago that, with a lot of things that you're saying, it's like a light bulb keeps going off in my head. And I said to her, yeah, I completely get what you're talking about. So tarot it's just one of the most beautiful tools to use for personal transformation. Not just internally, because when we transform internally is when our lives begin to take on magic as well. So what I'm going to do today is, I am just, there's one question that I'm asked really often, and that is, are the cards random? I mean, you sit down, you just pick up cards and they tell you things. Now, what I do want to say is nothing at all in the universe is random. Absolutely nothing is random. Anything that you even think is an accident or XYZ, these are just synchronicities that really fall into place. I've said this in the last couple of days that everything finally is energy, and there is a certain flow to energy, and the same energy flows through the entire cosmos, through the entire 3 trillion galaxies out there. It flows outside, it flows within us. There's a oneness everywhere. And there is a flow to these energies as well as a sacred geometry to them. There are certain creation codes that have been put down by the creator, and different flows of energy create different essences of energy. So all is energy, all is connected, all is consciousness, and I explained that 2 days ago. Hence, all is intelligent. Now, our thoughts are the finest forms of energy. In fact, we often use the word saying, oh, I get this vibe. I pick up the vibes. I'm not feeling that great in X place. I'm feeling wonderful in another place. So what you really pick up are the collective thought forms that have created a collective consciousness in a place. And thoughts are absolutely the finest forms of energy. And I've already explained to you that there's a resonance, like attracts like. Now, each time you have a thought, visualize it leaving your brain, going out into the universe, creating an electromagnetic field of energy, which then draws into your life exactly what you've sent out. So thoughts also, so when you send out a thought, other similar thought forms will also attach themselves to them. To put it very simply, if you're walking around feeling sad, lonely, depressed, etc., you will end up drawing in more of that kind of energy, and more of that will end up appearing. If, however, you've worked on yourself and you're by and large positive, happy, etc., you will end up drawing in more of that as well. That's how resonance works. That's how thought transference works as well. So thoughts on the same frequency vibrate together. Now, the minute you first have that thought saying, I want to do a tarot card reading, what you don't realize is you have actually already set a process in motion. You've already begun a flow to your answer, because the reason you would want a tarot card reading is because obviously you have a question in your mind which is occupying you, preoccupying you, and you want an answer to that. So the whole process after that, the thought which goes out, the thought about what it is you want to deal with which goes out, and then you pick up the phone, you make an appointment. On the day of the reading, you get into your car, you arrive at XYZ place for the appointment. All this is already creating a flow, because what you don't realize is actually somewhere the universe has already heard you. Now, when you finally actually sit down for a reading, you're effectively sending a message to the universe saying that you're open to the wisdom that's available there for you out there in the energy field. And when you do that, it's almost like you create a gateway, a portal, a pathway for all the energy and information to flow down between you, the tarot card reader, the cards. I've explained all that in the last few days. So there is no such thing as randomness. I've already I explained to you, it works through that process of mnemonics and psychokinesis, the group energy, and how we tap into it. So if ever you do a tarot card reading, please, with anybody, know this, nothing is random, including the reading. So I'm going to now quickly get to the cards because I'd like to do a few more questions today. For some odd reason, I don't know why they didn't show up yesterday, and I kind of missed some of them. So now let's begin. The last card we did yesterday was the Lovers, which finally talked about your own inner world and choices at a deeper level in terms of what works for you or what doesn't. The next step in the path of the initiate is the Chariot. Now, this Chariot has a Cancer element to it, Mars, and this is all about control. Now, if you look at this, what is happening? There's a very strong figure guiding two sphinxes. There could be two horses as well. Now, one is black, one is white. These, of course, represent the light and dark aspects, what appear to be light and dark. Now, this guy is trying to go this way, this guy is trying to go this way. If he allows each one to go in two separate directions, what will happen? The whole edifice will crumble. If, however, he is able to make them move together, then what happens? The whole momentum doubles and he gets to where he has to go faster. So basically, this is about taking the charioteer, the soul of the charioteer, into the right place. Now, if these opposing forces, and you'll find this thread running through almost the whole of tarot, that finally every aspect of our lives, everything carries duality, which of course means choice. And I did explain to you that in duality, one aspect always has part of the other that's embedded in it. So here too, very obviously, there's choice involved. The wheels of the chariot indicate that life is always moving, life is always turning. It's a never-ending cycle. But now this is a very, very yang energy card. It's a very strong card. This is a card of mastery over one's consciousness, mastery over one's will, over one's emotions. That's what these moons imply, that he has mastered his emotions and mastered the opposing forces through strength of will. This is a card, basically the learning from this card is have confidence in yourself, have faith in your abilities, have a goal, and be fixed and focused in your path towards that goal. Don't allow yourself to be buffeted by the opposing forces. There are always forces buffeting us around. And it's a very solar plexus energy. The solar plexus is all about empowerment. It's all about power. It's all about going out there and doing it. And when I use the word aggressive over here, it's not negatively. It's just saying, just go out there and make it happen. So it's like borderline, almost aggressive in terms of not force, but just being so sure of where he wants to go and how he wants to get there. And it's his focus that will get him where he needs to go. And this then will help him and enable him to increase in strength. And basically, when your individual consciousness submerges with the universe, and you experience that moment again of samadhi, of saying, okay, these are the various things happening around me, but that is where I want to go, and that is where I'm going to get to. This is also a card when this comes up, it's telling you you have what it takes. You just need to think clearly, and you need to have faith in yourself. Faith in yourself because you have the abilities. So it's a card of learning to control your own life. So it's a card of achievement, victory, movement, going out there, making it happen. And this card completely has less to do with circumstances, more to do with how you direct those circumstances. If you notice, there are really no reins with which he's holding these two sphinxes. It's just through the force of his will that he's directing them to go where he needs to. So it's a card of being self-assertive, fixed, focused, and maybe somewhere following the middle path. The middle path, why? Because the two ends will take you, or will try to take you to do different directions, but stay the course. So all victories are possible through faith, confidence, focus, doing what is required, and just managing whatever are the opposing forces around you. So this card actually carries the positive aspects of ego. Now, to be successful in life, an ego is a must. If you don't have that, if you aren't, and I'm not talking about being narcissistic, I'm just saying, of being sure of who you are, what you want, what you need. So this is that card of working with your ego, a healthy ego, one that is strong, self-assured, knows what it wants and how to get there. So really, the lockdown learning with this is get rid of your fear. I know one day you're hearing one thing, one day you're hearing another. One day we wake up feeling, oh my God, all this is going to get over tomorrow. There could be days when you're reading and you're being told and you're wondering, how long is this going to carry on? How long will my business be able to handle things? How will I manage all of that? So the question here is, how are you going to be? Are you going to allow fear and darkness to take over? Or are you going to just live in that make-believe world saying, oh, everything will kind of right itself? It doesn't work like that either. So find that power center within yourself that accepts what is, and within the parameters of what is possible, work with your strengths and abilities to make things happen. And this is absolutely an ideal time to do what you have to do. I say this every day, increase your strengths, increase any learnings that you need to do. This is a great time to do goal setting, to get a fix on who you are, where you want to go, what kind of a life do you want to lead, and then just stay focused on your path. So that was the Chariot. And then we come to a card called Strength. Now, when you look at this card, what do you see here? So this card has the sun element. It is Leo. The crystal involved with this is a tiger's eye. And this is really a card all about inspiration and fortitude. And let me explain this to you now. So what's happening here? There's a woman, again, with that sign of infinity, like the magician had over his head. And there's a lion over here. And she's actually forcing the mouth open, but she's doing it gently. Now, so this is really, again, she's using, I think it's more of mental strength to subdue the lion. And she's using gentleness. This is about soft control. This lion represents a challenge in her environment. It could be a situation, it could be anything. But whatever it is that's happening externally is actually creating a beast within. The beast within could be lack of confidence, could be anything, that makes you think you're either not good enough, that you're not going to be able to hack something or handle something. So this is really the card of taming that beast within. This has to do with your instinctive desires and wishes. This wreath and white rose have to do with purity. And these are the forces of nature and the kingdom of growing things. So this 8, again, on one hand, is a symbol of balance. And also, I had explained this earlier, this is a sign of infinity. And a sign of infinity always means limitless potential. And of course, limitless power and limitless empowerment to take your life where you want to take it. Because these are our aspects, and I say this always, we are a spark of the divine, and there is actually nothing we cannot do if we really set our minds to it. So this is the sign of infinity there, and the potentiality even of whatever is happening right now is limitless, and you can create limitless magic. So obviously, this is a card representing a challenge and causing some sort of a loss of nerve in some way. The beast without, which creates the beast within. And whether it's fear, whether it's lack of confidence, emotional neediness, that's a common one these days, because we've all somehow, thanks to the lives we've lived, ended up in a place of alienation and isolation. So what is needed at this point? Whereas the Chariot talked about the external stuff, this is about drawing from within. This is not a card of brute force strength where you go out there and you make it happen. This is about patience, resilience, hanging in there, being able to see the other side, being able to see the other point of view. It's about fortitude, it's about courage, determination, mental grit, strength of will, and ability to endure hardship. So it talks of being stoic, stoicism, silent, strong, and yet to handle things with compassion. And I've always said this actually, it's only a truly strong human being who has the capacity to be truly gentle. So it's about soft control from an inner core of strength and patience and a quiet determination. And whenever this comes up, again, you are being told that you have what it takes. So don't allow the beast within to eat you up, whatever it is that's causing your nerves to fray, that's causing fears or causing whatever it is. And the really interesting thing about this card is that whenever it comes up, and I love it when this comes up, because this is a card telling you that the biggest opportunities actually come disguised as your biggest challenges. And this is a card telling you that whatever it is that's appearing as a challenge, as a hurdle in your life at this point of time, is actually an opportunity disguised. These are stepping stones to success that can take you to dizzy heights if you work with the energies that I've talked about of soft control, compassion, all the things that I've mentioned. If you use your inner strength and yet you're gentle with your environment, with people around you in the way that you handle things, that you're not forcing anything through, these inner attributes, you will be able to tame the lion, you will tame the beast within, and these hurdles, these problems, or however it is you see them, will actually turn into stepping stones that can take you sky high. So that's the beauty of this card. The search inwards cannot be accomplished by the ego always. We need to confront, always we need to confront our feelings and our desires. In fact, I always say you don't always have to act out what you're feeling, but the internal dialogue about that must happen. The resolution needs to come from within. And if one actually walks this path of being in a state of allowance with our internal dialogue and squaring up internally, then the external takes care of itself. So that is when the transformation happens, when our feelings and desires, which are long hidden from our conscious thoughts, are allowed to be handled and dealt with internally by ourselves. I mean, half the time people shy away from this, really. So then we end up creating a different kind of persona. This is what strength is about. It's a different kind of power. This is not about ego, but the inner strength to confront yourself calmly and without fear. And this is a card that symbolizes an enduring partnership between awareness and instinct, a fearless heart, free from doubt and full of love. It's a lovely card. All right. The next one is the Hermit. All right. Now, what do you see here? This hermit is standing on top of a snowy mountain. He's got this cloak around him. He has a staff, and he's holding a lantern with a pentagram inside. So the sign of this is Saturn, Virgo. Saturn was the god of old age and discrimination. And this is the Greek god Chronou, who is the god of time as well. So I keep saying this, a lot of the cards are very obvious, and this is definitely one of them. When you think of a hermit, what do you think of? Somebody who has withdrawn himself from the daily hub of life and is in a space of soul searching, seeking for that inner God, looking into his inner voice, searching for perfection, for self-realization. It's a quest for truth and one's own inner God. And this cloak represents a turning inward and shutting out all the noise externally. So it's an inward journey that the hermit is on. And it's a shutting away of the world, protection from outside forces. And the staff actually represents the support of God. The lantern represents light or enlightenment. And there's a pentagram inside that, which represents wisdom. So it's a card of self-examination, introspection, seeking, self-initiation, silence, withdrawal. And we all know that this kind of seeking can only happen in solitude. When there's too much external noise, it's hard to reach a place like this. But when we shut out the external noises, so this is a card about aloneness, not necessarily loneliness. But of course, the two are two sides of the same coin. And occasionally, too much of aloneness could lead to loneliness. This is a card of solitude. And you know, all our inner growth happens in solitude. When we commune with ourselves, when we're in touch with ourselves, when we're in touch with that inner voice. And so as I said, yes, when this comes up, to a certain extent, you need to be careful to not end up spending too much time by yourself. But as they say, people can walk with you, but no one can walk for you. So this is a card which the hermit is lighting up the way for you. It's an energy which has been lost for a long time. As I said, there's just so much noise in our lives. In this world of consumerism, commercialization, there are a million voices telling us how to be, what to think, whether it's schools, whether it's media, and I mean, we're being bombarded all the time. And just that bombardment of 100 different things can create so much of confusion in our energetic field as well. So this is really an important thing to do. And I say this, even if you spend 10 minutes a day doing a certain amount of introspection, whether it's in the morning or whether it's in the evening, you will wade through and work through a lot of issues when you begin this quest on an inward journey. And whenever this card comes up, I absolutely love it. And I always tell people this, that this has come up saying that you've stepped into that, onto that path. And once this is going to help you figure out who you are. Once you know who you are, then you will know where to put your next foot forward. And chances are you will put it in the right direction, because that right direction will be the path of your soul. And finally, that's really what we're here to do. And learn to become friends with yourself. It's the best friend you're ever going to have. And you will create an ability to cope, because we were seeking answers outside all this time when all the answers really lie within. So this is a journey. Yes, it's a solitary one, to find your own inner God, to find your own inner path. So it's a card of solitary learning, desiring stillness, basically. So it can talk of meditation, it can talk of a guru, it can talk of learning in different ways. Whatever it is that takes to get you in touch with yourself. So developing awareness by abandoning materialistic trappings and learning to listen to your own inner voice. A need to take a step back in order to plan. So withdrawal, soul searching, and seeking a more meaningful existence, a more meaningful life. So you need this time alone. And there comes a point in almost all our lives when we actually begin to question, who am I? Where have I come from? What am I doing here? Where am I going? So the Hermit card is a lot about all of that. The beginning of your search. So it could represent a guru, a mentor, learning, teaching, and being taught. And different ways to do this, as I said, are through meditation, chanting, psychic discipline, silence, contemplation. But a deliberate mental effort based on specific techniques and teachings can work very well as well. So it's really all about self-development. The Hermit is the European version of our Indian yogis. He's an ascetic, and he was always a giver of wisdom to the knights who were on a spiritual quest. So it's a meditative period, becoming a recluse, wonderful space to be. So that was your Hermit. And now we come to the last card for today, after which I'll take a few questions. What is the time? All right. Okay. So this is the Wheel of Fortune. What are you seeing here? Many, many things. Primarily, this is a card telling us that the wheel of life is constantly turning. Nothing stands still. Nothing stays the same. Nothing lasts forever. And by nothing, I mean absolutely nothing. Everything is in a process of growth. Everything is in a process of change. Everything is in a process of movement. And because there is, the key word to this card really is, this too shall pass. Whether you're sitting on top of the heap, whether you're sitting at the bottom of the heap, whether you're rocking in a fantastic relationship, whether you're in the middle of a breakup right now and it's causing whatever issues, whether you're making a lot of money right now, whether you're feeling broke right now, this too shall pass. So this is also a card of fate, of pure chance, because it's not just about you. It's about so many thousands and thousands of different people, so many different energies coming together in this quantum soup that I've talked about. Each one is creating new energies by his thoughts, actions, movements, emotions, etc. And so not only do we have our own karma and our own karmic blueprint, but we are part of the larger whole as well. And so very often we're at the receiving end of things which we may or may not deserve. Sometimes wonderful things happen and you say, oh wow, that was a lucky break. And there are times where you say, I didn't deserve this. Why did this happen? So this is a card that talks about things that happen outside of one's control. This is the whole this is the cosmic wheel that is turning over here. To give an example, I mean, the stock market crashes, Corona happens. So it's a card of overwhelming changes. It's a turning point movement, and it represents the wheel of life, which is constantly turning. And it talks about the fact that you're going to be entering a new cycle, and we are all bound to this wheel. It is turning for everyone. It tells us the only constant in life is change. And I think I've probably said this before. Day becomes night, night becomes day. Spring turns to summer, summer to autumn, autumn to winter, winter to spring. A baby is born, grows into an adolescent, becomes an adult, grows old, dies. You plant a seed, it will grow into a plant, become a beautiful flower, and then finally wither away and die. This is the nature of life. This is the cycle of life. The only constant is change. And everything changes. There is an inexorable feel to this card of movement, and which is why actually it is so important to take control of the wheel in every moment of your life. Because the only thing you ever actually have complete control of is your current moment. So this is what this card is also saying. Nothing lasts. It's nature's way. This is how things have been ordained. And, all human beings fear change. We all fear change, even though fear is change is the very basic of life. And all human beings fear change. And what is the ultimate change? Death. But death is simply a change into another dimension, because the soul never dies. It's you just move into another frequency. If all were to remain static and stagnant, think about it, how boring would your life be if everything remained the same? Nothing changed. You met no one new. You did no new things. You learnt nothing new. You didn't visit new places. Life would be really, really boring. And think about it, we change jobs, we make new friends, we move homes. So don't fear change. You can only profit by going with the flow and using and utilizing the new tools at hand. And this is the card of having awareness, a personal vision, of joining the dots. I keep saying the signs are always there. And when you end up functioning in a state of awareness, it is amazing what a different color, a different hue your life will take on. Um, you just end up getting your answers from all the signs and synchronicities, the things that come into your life, the people that come into your lives, whatever it is. So learn to see things with a deeper awareness. And having gone through the part of the hermit, you really get, this is the next step where you get to a point where you know what your place is in the larger scheme of things and how things are impacting you. So when you learn to join the dots, you will gain perspective and you will discover your role and purpose within that. So live life in tune with these cycles rather than trying to struggle against them. It's a pointless exercise. Move with the rhythms, go with the flow. And these 4 figures represent the 4 different ways that you can approach life. There is the eagle, there is the winged lion, there is the bull, and there's the angel. So whether it's about flying high, the mental aspect, the emotional aspect, the earthing aspect, the spiritual aspect, the wheel is just the symbol of life, and the wheel also represents the prayer wheel, a turning and a constant turning and a constant movement. So this is the wheel of birth, it's the wheel of death, and this is Anubis, who is the Egyptian god of the underworld, who actually guides souls into the afterworld and takes care of them. And he offers protection in the afterlife. And the Sphinx here is the guardian, the gateway to the mysteries, holding the secrets of life. And it represents secrets will be revealed only to those who are observant, in a state of awareness, and to those who see beyond the surface things of whatever's happening in your life. So another way to view this is when it comes up like this, you completely know there are unexpected good and lucky things coming. And it's about being in the right place at the right time. You meet the right person and the right things begin to happen. Alternatively, depending on the position, etc., it can talk of your wheel of life maybe taking a downturn. So it's all about these synchronicities. And finally, the most important thing about any changes is simply about how you handle them. If your reaction is to be in a place of acceptance and flow and being able to adapt, you will find meaning, you will find the path, you will find the process. So this was a few cards today. Let's now do a few question answers, and let me see what we have here. Okay. So that's interesting. Somebody wants to know, what is my connection to ancient Egypt and how can I incorporate it to my current life? All right. Yeah, I have a very deep connection with Egypt. 11 trips, and each time new and wonderful things open up. All right, let's see. What is your connect to Egypt? What is your connect to Egypt? Wow. Okay, so there's a part of you that and it might have been in a life in Egypt where you ended up feeling, maybe not just feeling, maybe that was your place over there. There was a sense of being very marginalized, very out of the flow of mainstream life. There may have been abject poverty or a health issue. And your connection is somewhere, it's about finding that that child within yourself. That's really what's come up. We all have an inner child, and this child never really dies. And I always say this: we need to work with this inner child through our lives. So it's really about that, and through finding good friendships. It's a beautiful card of friendships that's come up over here, and somewhere going to Egypt would enable you to revisit this past. And I always say this, when you go back to places where certain things have happened, things unlock, and you end up with maybe on a path with an ability to, or with the right people to do these things. So it's really about finding your place in a real-time way, and it's beautiful what's come up. It's about your station in life. It's about money. It's about your place. It's about how people view you. All of that, and somewhere this is your connection, about finding that child in yourself, finding your place. And wow, I drew a card of guidance, and I already used that word, and what's come up here is friendship. So this is what it was about. This is what it was about. You may have lost some friends over there, and this is going to enable you to find them again and get in touch with them again. All right. So what are the other questions? Somebody's asking me, Jaya, will I get back my current job and future? That's a very, very large question. Get back your future. Let's just ask about the card. Sorry, not the card. Let's just ask about the job right now. If the job makes sure that your entire future falls into place, then it'll be answering your question with the future as well. All right? So will I get... Okay, so Jaya, the cards are saying that, you completely, in terms of ability, in terms of connections, contacts, etc., a lot in place. But at this point of time, maybe not much you can do. This is not, the cards have not come up saying a direct yes or no. What they're saying is nothing. A lot of this has to do with the times that we're in at the moment. The Hangman has come up. You will, and somewhere not really being able to break out of a current situation. So I think a lot of it is dependent on how the economy goes. To answer your question, the cards are really saying you're going to have to wait this out. You're going to have to see how long you can wait this out. And I'm talking in terms of money, in terms of, if there's this particular job you want back, you may end up having to take something else on before you actually are able to get back to this. This is what I'm seeing. And guidance, oh lovely. You've got a card saying there is protection. There's protection for you. So whether you end up going back to this job or to another one, I don't think you need to worry about your future. There's protection over there. So, all right. Somebody wants to know, Purna wants to know, how will I meet my soulmate? All right. How will I meet my soulmate? Let's take a look at that. Wow, this is pretty amazing. Okay, so the soulmate is a powerful soul. So whenever it's going to happen at a time when you're actually really down. It's going to happen at a time where you feel you don't have much choice. It's going to happen at a time where a lot of things, and you've drawn the wheel again, where things are really at a downturn, and where you may be needing help, and so you're going to be in a phase like that. It could be while you're traveling. This might be somebody who'll actually show up to help you through your travel. It could be, and I'm not saying he's a travel agent, but could be someone in the travel world, or somebody you meet in the process of trying to organize some travel for yourself. All right? Now, Anita wants to know about her spiritual journey. Okay, so this again is, I don't know whether you're asking how will it go. Let's just do guidance in terms of what is it you need to do to take your spiritual journey further. Let's take a look at that. Very interesting. Okay, so a single piece of advice has come up. And that is, there are many good things in your life which somewhere you end up walking away from. Don't look at turning ascetic. Being spiritual is not about turning into an ascetic. It's about really finally being spiritually connected and leading your life absolutely to the fullest, because this card here tells me that there's a certain timidity, when things show up for you, and things which could be emotionally fulfilling, and you tend to walk away from them. Also, to move ahead on your spiritual path, the next thing you really need to do is address your emotions, address your emotional issues, because spirituality is not just about sitting and chanting and meditating. It's about working through whatever your relationships are with whoever they are. Don't avoid addressing whatever it is you need to. And you've drawn a lovely card saying compassion. So function with a little, I'm sure you are compassionate, but bring a little bit more of this energy into your life. And energy healing will work great for you. So whatever that means. And there are, as I keep saying, there are many, many parts to this. I'm a crystal healer, and crystals work beautifully. So for spiritual growth, use a labradorite. That's what's coming to me. Use a labradorite. All right. So Sunanda wants to know about her journey as an artist. Okay, I'm assuming you already are an artist, Sunanda. Let me take a look at where it's going. Okay. All right, so here's the thing. So I think for a while now, you've probably been waiting for something to happen, something to change, something to give. And in terms of, I always say this, one thing is developing your own skills. The other also is having a kind of team or a support system or someone or something that takes you along. And maybe that is something that hadn't fallen in place. So you seem to be at a place right now where, yes, you are questioning, is this something that can completely take care of me as a career? What I want to say to you is, don't give up. Don't give up at all. Just enhance your skills. And the main thing coming up is make contact. Communicate with all the people or whoever, whether it's organizations, whether it's people who can help to take your work forward, because I see you actually reaching a place of doing extremely well. You're going to end up very, very well known. I'm seeing a global playing field for you. So don't give up, even though I know you are in a state of assessment of it right now. Don't give up. And your guidance is, okay, you are safe. It's reiterating what I just said to you. And what's come up is see the other person's point of view, which means if, because the cards came up saying get in touch with people who can take you forward. So don't be stuck on just moving your artwork in the way that you want. Be open to suggestions of other professionals, because they may know the marketing end a little better. That was your guidance. All right, so who's next now? Somebody's asking, when will I get married? Right, Supriya, when will I get married? Okay, let's take a look at when you're going to get married, Supriya. Okay. So here's the thing. If you're keen to, please make sure it happens within the coming year. If you don't, then things may go into a little bit of a loop. You have to create your space. You have to, it could happen within, I mean, as soon as 4 months, but try to make it happen within the coming year. Otherwise, for the next 3-4 years, things may go into a bit of a loop. So Preeti is asking, when will my husband come for reconciliation with me? Or will we get divorced? Okay. I think he wants a reconciliation. He's really, really stressed, but doesn't know how to make this happen. He wants it, and he doesn't. Long term, I think you're going to be together. I don't think you're getting divorced. All right? So what you need to do, lovely card, beautiful card. This is the card of the home, family, children if you have them. The card is saying focused on keeping the family together, focused on the on the togetherness, the good times you may have had. Don't give up. Don't give up. I think long time he's there. He's just going through a bit of a rough time right now. He doesn't quite know how to handle things. And somebody's asked, I want to know about my dad, but I don't know what you want to know. All right. They don't. Are there any more questions? Why is this one moving? Right. Somebody, I answered that about the spiritual journey. Raki, what I need to know what it is you want to know. Okay, Mohan, what should I be doing from now onwards? But as regards to what? Does it have to do with, are you asking about work? Are you asking about what should you be doing? Let's take a general look and see what the card says here. All right. What should you be doing, Mohan? Wow. Okay. This is a card you need to, I don't know what you do in terms of work, whether it has to do with either travel or even export of some kind or something, but just this is the time to do all the communication that you need to get in touch with whoever. If you're looking at setting up a partnership at this point of time, it's a great time to do it. And look at expanding, look at expansion, and don't worry too much in terms of decisions. Should I go this way or should I go that way? Don't worry about being defeated. This is a time you need to, okay, so the primary thing coming through really is communication. And I know it's a hard time for anyone to travel, but the cards are saying if you need to travel out to make this happen, make that choice and do it. Right? So, am I pregnant? I would like to know whether I'm having a boy or a girl. Let's see what the cards say. Are you having twins? A boy and a girl? You know, sometimes the cards don't answer, and it could be simply because you're not meant to know right now or the time isn't right, but something tells me they could be twins. I don't know how far gone you are in your pregnancy, but get that checked out. And if there are twins, it'll be a boy and a girl. So Anupama wants to know, when will my daughter get married? Okay, let's take a look at that. Oh, within a year. Within a year. I think she's seeing someone, or there is some kind of an offer already, but it should happen within a year. Yeah. All right. So, what are the other questions? Okay, I think I can probably do one more, and then we'll be done. Somebody asked about her dad. Let me take a look at that. Who's it who asked? All right. So let me tell you how your dad's doing. So, on the whole, your dad seems to be doing pretty well. He's happy where he is, and there's a sense of, on his day-to-day life, he's being able to do the things he wants, the things he enjoys. Emotionally, there seem to be some issues which need looking into, which should be addressed. But on the whole, I think he's doing great. Okay? All right, so with that, I think I'm going to have to say bye to all of you this evening. See you again tomorrow, same time, and we'll take a look at a few more cards and talk a little bit more about the science behind how they work as well. Have a lovely evening, all of you. Okay, bye.